was really interested, actually, Caitlin, on your perspective on that game. I think you touched on it a little bit there, but also you've written about it quite a lot. What's going on with this US women's national team? But I'd love for our listeners for you to maybe provide your lead-in theory, and we can also share that article that you wrote for ESPN on those different thoughts and onions on why this tournament has been what it is for the US.
Yeah, well, that article, you use the word theory, and that's exactly right, because the sort of perplexing thing is that we don't really know necessarily why the US was so bad in this tournament. The last time the US had a tournament where they lost as badly as they did, 3-0 against Sweden, was in 2007 against Brazil. They lost 4-0. And there was a very clear reason for that. The coach made a really dumb decision. He didn't start Hope Solo. He started a goalkeeper that hadn't played in 8 months. Like, you could look at how bad that was, and you had a reason. For this tournament, there is not a clear reason. That's sort of the scary part from an American perspective. We don't really know why they were so bad. I think the top theory, at least in terms of the collective team sort of looking disjointed, I think Vlatko Andonovski rotated the lineups a lot. Players didn't really have a chance to grow into the tournament. They weren't playing together repeatedly. He played a different lineup every game. So I think that's sort of a top theory for collectively why the team didn't play well. But I think where we're still in the dark, and I don't really have a read on necessarily, is why the individual players were so bad. The technical execution, um, balls bouncing off players' shins, not trapping the ball, sending passes 15 yards away from their intended target. These are things that are a little more mysterious. And, you know, going back to US versus Canada in the 2015 World Cup, you'll remember the opening game of that tournament. The US did not play very well. They looked disjointed, but they beat you guys because of individual performances that stood out. Hope Solo stood on her head. Megan Rapinoe scored on, less than a half chance. But that didn't happen this time around. The team was both disjointed and none of the players stepped up. So I think the roster rotation probably had something to do with it. Maybe the fact that they won a World Cup, they came into this tournament unbeaten in 44 games. That doesn't help. I don't think their mentality was in the right place. But this is something that's going to be investigated for a long time, I think. I think the players and the coach, from what they've said, they're still trying to figure it out.